Will my ex ever come back to me? Here's the answer. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And we are talking today about your ex. Are they going to come back? Will they come back? Now, if you clicked on this video, obviously my assumption is that you are in a situation or predicament where you are feeling like, oh my God, is my ex ever going to come back to me? I don't know if they are. What do I do? How do I manage this? How do I navigate this, right? And the first thing that I want to say is stop. Take a breath. It's okay. There are things that we have to take into consideration when we are exploring this topic, correct? And one of the first things that I want to cover, right? Number one that we have to take a look at is it depends on the severity of the breakup. If you had a really bad breakup, there was a lot of animosity, there was a lot of frustration, anger, resentment, you were fighting all the time, you couldn't stand being around each other, you lost respect for one another. The likelihood of that person coming back anytime soon is decreased, right? Now, I don't want to sit here and say that it's not a possibility, right? You know for a fact, you know about the relationship more than I do. You were the one that was experiencing the breakup. But what I can say to you is that if you feel like there is still an opportunity or still a chance, we still have to look at it realistically, right? And in order to look at it realistically, we have to take into account how the relationship ended. So as I said before, it depends on the severity of the relationship. Now, if it was an amicable breakup and there wasn't as much animosity and resentment and frustration and anger and all of these types of things, right? Then you increase your chances of being able to get your ex back sooner. But again, life is unpredictable. The future is unpredictable. And there are many different factors that are contributing to that outcome. But that does not mean that you don't have a chance. I want to be very clear. You absolutely have a chance of getting your ex back. But the problem is a lot of the times you get yourself into this mindset where you're trying to put yourself in their mind. You're trying to understand what it is they're thinking, what they're doing, how they're feeling, what they're processing. And when you do that, what you actually end up doing is creating a lot more insecurities for yourself. You create this kind of negative mindset and environment, and that is one of the things that will actually prevent you from being able to reattract your ex. So the question itself is, will my ex come back to me? Which tells me that you are wanting to reattract your ex. So a big part of this is going to be the mindset factor, right? The energy that you put out there and how you approach the situation. The second thing that we have to take into consideration is the longevity of the relationship, right? So was it a long-term relationship or was it a short-term relationship? Now, it really depends here, right? This is variable as well. You can have a short-term relationship that went from 0 to 100 and you guys connected on such a deep emotional level that it's difficult to feel like you can detach from the situation. Or you could have had a long-term relationship where the love grew slowly and over time. And that connection is still strong, right? And it still feels like it's difficult to detach. But again, like I said, it varies. It depends on the people, on the dynamic, how quickly you jumped into it, the chemistry, the amount of time you spent together. There's so many different things. But what I will say is, if you were in a long-term relationship, right? So anything 6 months plus, let's say you were in a relationship for 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, you built a lot of memories together. There's a lot of things that you experience together. And those experiences bond you. Those experiences are things that tie you together. So when you have this mentality of, oh my God, we broke up, my ex is going to forget about me forever, that's just not true. It's not the case. A person can't just forget about you overnight like that. It doesn't work that way. Unless they have amnesia or some kind of, obviously, disorder or disease or mental illness where they have the inability to remember long-term, right, or short-term. But that's rare. And I don't think that that's part of what you are experiencing, right? What you are experiencing is what everybody else experiences in these circumstances, in these situations where you second guess everything because what you knew and what you were used to is no longer the same. So, short-term versus long-term. Again, long-term, memories don't go away like that. And even with short-term relationships, right? Anywhere from, let's say 0 months to 6 months. There are still memories that you create. There are still things that you did together that tie you and bond you. However, there was not enough time in the relationship to really solidify that bond, right? To really kind of formulate this sense of camaraderie and teamwork and partnership over an extended period of time. And therefore, the timeline may be shorter for you to be able to win your ex back. But that should not be the focus. The focus should not be, what do I need to do right now to get my ex back? Because as I've said many times before, and as we've said many times before, you have to focus on you. There was a reason for the breakup. There was a reason for why you guys are no longer together. And whether that be because the connection wasn't as strong, maybe there was a breakdown in communication, there was intimacy issues, there was infidelity, whatever the case may be. All of those things have to be worked on and flushed out before you have the opportunity of jumping back into the relationship. So take a moment to self-reflect. Take a moment to reevaluate. Take a moment to look at the relationship as a whole and say, okay, what was wrong? What worked? What didn't work? What am I accountable for? What is my partner accountable for? Instead of putting yourself in the mindset of, what is my partner thinking? What is my ex thinking? That's just going to drive you crazy. And you can't control that. Right? So unless you have psychic abilities where you can read somebody's mind, the reality is you're not going to get anywhere with that. It's not productive. It's not effective in any way. That being said, and I basically already segued into it, right, is the self-development piece. Working on yourself is going to be a huge piece to the puzzle. So let's try to change the perspective, right? Let's try to change our focus and redirect it to something that actually is important and is actually going to increase the chances of getting your ex back. So instead of just hyper focusing on, will my ex come back to me? A part of this is about manifestation. My ex will come back to me, but I have to do the work. I have to make the necessary changes in order to be able to reattract them. And now here's the thing. I get this all the time. Where people say, well, why do I have to make the changes, right? My ex is just as accountable. Why do I have to make the changes? But keep in mind, you're watching this video and you're wondering if your ex is going to come back. So if you are watching this video and you're wondering if your ex is going to come back, that means that you have to take accountability for your part as well. That doesn't mean that they don't have to take accountability either, but you cannot control that. You can only control yourself. You can only control your environment. And that is why I say to you, you have to take accountability and you have to fix the things that you can fix. And that being said, the final piece of the puzzle, which is kind of all encompassing to all of this, is the mindset. You have to have a positive mindset. You have to have the ability to view the future in a constructive way. You have to be able to believe that you will make progress. And you also have to be able to believe that you have the capabilities of reattracting your ex, because at the end of the day, you had them at one point. They were yours, which means you had all the necessary things to be able to get them to commit. Now, you may have lost yourself along the way. They may have lost themselves along the way, but that doesn't mean that you can't get back to that person and utilize those personality traits, those characteristics to re-attract your ex. So once again, let's try to refocus and not wonder or worry or freak out whether they're going to come back, but actually put in the work to be able to make that happen. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also leave a comment. I love to read the comments. I try to comment or respond to as many of them as I can. I always love your feedback, your thoughts, what you think about the video. Maybe there's something that you feel I could have added, or maybe it's something that was missing, or maybe you just want to drop a comment and say hi. Please do that down below. If you just want to dive in deeper, if you want to know more about this subject matter, you can visit us at www.withmyexagain.com, where we have a multitude of different videos and blogs and articles related to this subject and many other subjects as well. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session, if you feel like you just need a little bit more help, or you want to know a little bit more and you feel your circumstances special, you can also book directly through the website. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you soon.